Let's go. Let's go. What is up? What is up? Welcome back to Aquarium Talk and everything in between. What's good? Hold on, let me fix my hat. What's good? Obviously, this is episode 18. What are we talking about? What are we talking about today, man? What are we talking about? I don't even know. What's up, Harkins? What's good, man? What's good? So, as you guys are coming in, sorry, excuse me, I'm sitting over here eating some jalapenos. Jalapeno on a stink. What's up, Gabe? I got a couple mods coming on in here. Y'all hit them thumbs up. Hit them thumbs up. So we're gonna talk about on some real notes. By the way, welcome everyone. Welcome. So CO2 scrubbers for better pH in saltwater tank. How do you guys feel about that? People ask about CO2 scrubbers and all this other stuff. People also say, hey, I live in cold climate. I do too. What did you do? Nothing. My hose stayed outside. I keep my hose outside. I love my hose, but I got to keep them outside. You know what I mean? All the hose stay outside, from the aquarium, pumping in air. Drip calc. That's one way to combat it. Is it dangerous? Can calc be dangerous? Yes, it can. Calc can be dangerous. Does it work? Yeah. Do y'all believe in CO2 scrubbers? And if so, why? There's things that I hear all the time about, better pH, better this, better that. All you guys know, I had multiple tanks throughout the years. And I've always had great, fast-growing, successful corals with pH outside of the normal 8.2, 8.4 pH. There's a lot of people that push that. And me personally, I want to know why. How is it that you know so much about how much of a coral's growth is going on when I grew corals bigger than my head, and most people don't get to that level? These people's tanks been up for quite some time. And if that was a real deal, why ain't their corals that big? I'm just asking. I'm kind of wondering. Just kind of wondering. Never did I say CO2 scrubbers don't work, by the way, just to clear that up. I want to know if that was scientific proof, or is that just observation? It doesn't mean that you can't. Exactly. My tanks never hit above 8. That 300 never hit above 8. Excuse me. That my tanks always had low pH. They're in the basement. Not a lot of air exchange. And they ran low even with me pumping air into my house, with my protein skimmer, pumping air hose running outside all year round, including sucking up snowflakes into my house. And the corals never bat an eye at it. They grew fast, they grew big, and it got to a point my calcium reactor couldn't keep up. Nothing could keep up. Okay, I was cutting like nobody's business. Every time I trim, I was trimming again. Now, these are things that I've experienced. So I'm kind of wondering, where does people think that higher pH promotes better growth? And where can we see that at? Because there's a lot of people um, that uh, believes that. And I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm having a discussion. Second off, why would anybody pay for CO2 scrubber when I live in Ohio? Okay. I get bad weather too. It gets really cold. It gets freezing. It gets all that, right? I still pull air from outside and never had a problem. First off. Second off, if you think it's going to drop the temperature within your aquarium, why not add an extra heater instead of the expense of a CO2 scrubber, pump to pump and do all this other stuff? Why in buying media constantly? Why? Just a question. Just a question. I think it was a good topic to pick because, and there's going to be plenty more this year, by the way. I thought it was a good topic because it's funny how things can be said, but there's not a lot to it. No, and low pH, high pH. We've seen it go a bunch of different ways. All right, I'm being really serious here. Never did I say it doesn't work. Let me clear that up because I didn't. I said why. I'm asking questions. Okay, so why in whatever, and why I said that too is because how come free ain't better? Like, if that's the case, then pull free air outside. Your protein skimmer, there's a lot of air exchange in the protein skimmer. I said that. I've mentioned that way before. Why not get it for free? Everybody complains about how expensive things is, all the extras that we do's or don'ts, and all this other stuff. Why not free? My pH is 7.9, right, with no help from me. There you go. It's a low bridge. What happened? Everyone's doing some. I jump off that bridge too. Someone's doing it, so I jump. Gay, stupid. Anyway, does it increase growth? Yes. The difference worth the added expense? Question mark. That's really the question. How do we know? Where's the scientific proof that it actually is doing it? Because, and okay, let's say I never had higher pH, and that's just my take. So therefore, that doesn't mean I'm right. I never had high pH. I don't worry too much about that. Corals are growing, corals are happy. I see how much I'm fragging. You guys been around on the big tank, and you know what my pH stayed at. You watch me just constantly frag, and it looks like I've done nothing to the aquarium. Okay, constantly fragging. All right, sending out boxes to the point where it was just like, you know what, I can't keep doing it. Corals are growing too fast. Corals was even sucking up even more as I was fragging to regrow and heal quicker and all this other stuff. But I did have fresh air from outside. But it never changed. It never went above 8 for the most part. Never did. Rico, I was inspired by Reef Wholesaler Coral Lab. I actually want to play with these questions when I retire. Oh, there you go. Since when do you believe in science, Rico? That's a good question, because where is the science behind all this stuff? I mean, we can all run our own, our own test, I guess, or whatever. But where is the actual proof? And that's the thing. Yeah, great. Where is it? There is science behind this. Okay, well then prove it. Show me. Where? Who wrote it? Who wrote it? Can I be a scientist? Am I a scientist? Can I this dude. All right. I think a lot of this stuff, and I'm not trying to be funny here, is trying to turn my stuff into being combative. I mean, it's one thing, Gabe says something that's cool. Greg Carroll say thing, Harkins put his 2 cents in, and then you just keep going and going and going, man. Just keep going. Put you a little back, a little time out, man. Because I don't want to focus on constantly, hogging the show here. I'm trying to get other people's input as well. There is a BRS video series that the only thing I know, okay. BRS did one, a tank study, that is the source. Oh, so if that's the source, is that what you're saying? They did so maybe that's why people are questioning me about it, or bringing it to my attention about, question about CO2s. I've got algae scrubbers, stuff that I got to talk about that I'm going to talk about. Nobody said CO2 scrubbers don't work. Nobody said that you might not be able to be the source also sells us that stuff. Oh, I got you, Harkins. So that's why people ask, maybe. That's why people are asking these questions, because you're saying it's a source that is pushing it because they also they sell that. They sell that. Okay, I got it. What about I am all for things to work for people, and I'm all for things to and at the end of the day, everybody does what you want to do. Period. This is not a bash. This is a nice, calm. I love seeing the chat. I don't love being bombarded or spammed with a bunch of because it comes off very combative. Okay. But what I do want to see is what people are saying. And I'm not picking and choosing what I'm saying. Everybody else is fine. I do want comments. I do want to be able to read what people are saying in the chat and have a better clarity or understanding why things are being asked. Just like I've been asked several times to do an algae versus this and that and all that, which we're going to get to. But at the same time, why do people make it more complicated than it has to be? Why do you feel that if whoever speaks of what is the cure to your problems in a reef or saltwater tank? Speaking of this topic, need to figure out if Jake is still running pH at 8.5. Jake is another one that does the high pH or whatever. At the end of the day, I don't understand the logic for people to push the envelope. These things work just great and adapt just great. Just like if you was a boxer, you're not used to higher altitude, but you will adapt to it, right? And you'll be just fine, right? Go to Colorado and stuff like that, see how you feel. But over time, you'll adapt and you'll be just fine. Is that going to shut down your anything or stop you from your children from growing? Or is it going to slow down their growth rate because you move to, say, Colorado or wherever with higher altitude? I think these are good questions. I think they're good, great topics. I really do. I think they're wonderful topics. I think it lets people in on all kinds of stuff and hear different perspectives. That's why they're talks where we all just talk. So I saw the tank when I was at BRS. The difference was obvious. Also, say the tanks where they ran out at 12 versus 8. That was even more of a difference. Yeah. How many tanks have you seen, Greg, in your life? How many tanks have you seen that were great or better or not better? These are the things. He could tell you a whole lot. If he says otherwise, I hate that. He's a friend. He's a damn lie if he says otherwise. But he's a friend, and I know he's been around the block a time or two, and I know his answers already. And I'm not here to be his daddy because I'm not. I'm just simply talking, right? We see good tanks, not even on that same thing. Bad, y'all, tanks running this way, tanks running that way, tanks running upside down. You don't even know what you're going to see, right? So once again, this is not a bash. It's a simple talk. I don't care who said what, or whatever. I'm asking different people's perspective and how they see things, or look at things, right? So science is science. Yep. It is what it is. I agree. We are all little mini scientists. All right. But is it necessary? Back in the day, we ran out as high as 14. There's some people that still do. Remember, I was talking about high out, faster growth, and all kinds of stuff. It's like adding tests in our bodies. What's it going to do? It's going to promote faster growth. better muscle to rip heads off. It is. It does have its whatever. I do the high out test next. Hey. Gay. He's stupid. Now, at the end of the day, I'm kind of all I'm asking is I'm just tired of here's my thing. I'm tired of people saying things, but don't bring it up. Everybody says, "Oh, Google it." No, nobody had to prove it. If there's a if there okay, listen, I've been on enough shows, listen to people's thoughts, perspectives, studies, and everything. I studied for over 20 years, since like 96 to be exact. Okay, I've been studying. Because I don't have a PhD in marine or science or whatever, am I disqualified for making an opinion or a statement? And I'm just asking, and I'm asking politely. This is no combative here. Do I qualify or don't I qualify? I just want to know. Okay, let me phrase this. Let me rephrase it. I know I can make any opinion that I want. Do I qualify even though I don't have a piece of paper with the degree of marine science? I think at some point when people have been in here and seen a lot over the years, I think, have y'all ever wondered why any old heads don't really do too much, or any old heads will just stick to a topic that you would hear 20 times at 20 different shows, the exact same top, and maybe just tweak it or throw one thing in here or there? Have you guys why or ever wonder why those things happen? Because they just try to stay out of it and stay in their lane and not say anything at all. And guess what? Y'all just pay y'all dues. Y'all get bent over like each and every one of us got bent over at some point in our career of reef keeping. All I said is your experience not invalid. Okay. Personal belief, pieces of paper are overrated. I accept that as well. Mr. Flashman, I'm not trying to be funny. I want to achieve good growth, good color, because I'm pretty good at keeping them healthy. Knock on wood. You better knock on wood saying that. No, and I'm not personally, really personally attacking, but what I don't like to see is get those thumbs up first off or leave. So what I personally like to see in a community, push a product, push whatever product you want. Obviously, people at the end of the day will make and choose what it is that they want to do. I talk about products and I'm going to continue to talk about products. I'm going to be receiving products. I'm going to talk about products. And guess what? That's what it is. You know, I'll give you first impressions of the product. I hope it don't look like crap, because if it does, I'm going to tell you. At the end of the day, I want people to understand. I feel like how things are said, and I'm not trying to be confrontational at all. I really ain't. I really ain't. I agree. You're probably seeing more than what experience is worth. Gabe, how did you guess? Don't lie. I'm looking at you, Gabe. Look, I'm looking in your eyes, Gabe. Don't you lie. How did you guess that? Yeah. Anyway. No, I think Greg says, but if you have higher alk, you will end up higher, more consistent pH. Okay. I don't think you're going to have much of anything. You can have a CO2 scrubber and overload your system anyway with a house party. You're going to burn it out real quick and you're going to drop your pH anyway. Just saying. Just saying. You want to do that, just have your doors and windows all open and keep it moving. During cold seasons and stuff like that, obviously air exchange and people's houses nowadays are buttoned so far tight, it's not even funny. Yeah. I've killed thousands of corals trying to make sure y'all don't do it. I've done my share. I can't even tell you. I'm just being honest. Told you he didn't have it, that piece of paper just before willing you in surgery. Well, I feel like you would say that if you're going in surgery, let me just say this, Greg. I feel like if you need to go to surgery and it's that bad, and you might die anyway, at that point, I don't think it matters. Try to help me. You might be somewhere on an island. I don't think at that point it really matters. That piece of paper don't mean nothing, because if it meant something, you're saying, and I'm not picking on you, Greg, but at the same time, if it meant something, then you would ask every nurse doctor that sees you what they graduate, what was their GPA, or how were they the top of their class or the bottom of their class? Because at the end of the day, that should make a difference too, right? Just saying. It doesn't, but just saying. In SoCal, window is always open. Well, there you go. Here, a hose has always been out of the window, or wall or whatever, right? Period. It does add CO2. Calcium reactors lower, so I always ran a hose from my protein skimmer out the window, took it back. What my calcium reactor is going to do? You are pumping CO2. You're dissolving calcium media. You have to drop pH. That low pH will drop your aquarium. It doesn't have to though, because you could take a cup with a wooden air stone, pop some holes, lit the CO2, lit your fluid line, go drip into a nice made cup. Now go patent it, somebody. I don't need it. Trust me. I have enough patent if I wanted to make all kinds of stuff and money. But make a nice 3D cup holder so you can sell now. Call it Rico's CO2 scrubber cup. And you take your fluid line with a wooden air stone and you put it in there. So when the fluid line go, the effluent of your calcium reactor fills up with that effluent, the low pH, you can actually bubble it so it raises pH before it drips over the side of the cup. Okay? There you go. Hey, you keep your pH to whatever it is in your home, and your calcium reactor doesn't help lower it even more. I need a drink. How about that? Anyway, there's benefits to everything we do in the hobby. Are they needed? No, they're not. I spent enough money, not even just killing corals. I spent enough money in this hobby that I'm trying to save you some money and some time and some unnecessary things. Is that a problem? I don't think it is. I think it's great that I'm willing to share my time and sit up here and have a great conversation. How was your wife's check before that piece of paper? Her check was just fine. You forgot she was on my payroll. So her check was just fine, and she worked for herself. $30-something an hour is not a whole lot. It's good, but it's not a whole lot, compared to what I can make. But it was good, Greg. It was good. But to be honest with you, she still did just great. Even outside of that. Actually, getting that, she needs another piece of paper to really, but I get what you're saying. At the end of the day, man, I'm going to speak for myself. And I know you shouldn't take it wrong, and I hope you don't take it wrong, because I know we're better than that. But at the end of the day, you got me bent if you think a piece of paper is going to give me a voice or no voice about this hobby. After all the years I put into it, because I chose not to go to school for marine science or get a PhD in it. I mean, I'm sure I can Google it and get on here and graduate from some marine college course for maybe $100 or something to get. I'm just saying, I'm being funny, but at the same time, I'm being serious. It's like, it is what it is. I get the aspect of having a piece of paper, but you got to remember my way of thinking, which I don't know about the rest of y'all. That doesn't mean nothing. It does, but it doesn't. Once again, people have malpractice, and I'm not changing this over to malpractice lawsuit, but there's a lot of dummies, even that graduated, that got that piece of paper that kills people every day. Okay. I'm just saying, there's no guarantee when you go to sleep that you're going to wake up when you go to the surgery table. You don't know what he graduated with. Oops, I nicked the main artery. Well, we're going to just say he just didn't make it. It was too stressful while I was on the table. I'm just being funny, but at the same time, I'm being serious. Come on. I want to keep these conversations interesting and not get into really targeting certain things that really become so debatable. That's the problem in this industry. Everything is so debatable instead of just allowing a flowing conversation. It's okay to have thoughts. I'm not saying what Greg was wrong. I'm not saying what Angry Al's wrong. I'm not saying what anybody's wrong. Hawkins, whoever's speaking in the chat. But I am saying is, Why do y'all not hear or only hear what y'all want to hear? You get what I'm saying? I feel nobody can say anything in this community because you take what you want to hear and go 100 miles the opposite direction, or take it to a place where it doesn't need to go. I don't get the community. I don't get any conversation anybody has. It has to go where it doesn't need to go. You know, and I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, I know Greg, and if it wasn't Greg that said what he just said about what my wife was prior, I would pay you a visit. And I'm just being honest. Like, if it wasn't Greg, I know it's Greg, and I know it didn't go. He didn't mean nothing by it. But that type of stuff, and I'm not picking on Greg because he didn't, and I'm Greg, you know me better than that. Period. But at the same time, the person I am, that is a big no, that's off limits, period. But he knows my wife and he knows me. I'm talking about a scrubber and all these things that lead all over the place. Or why do you need it? Or do you think that you really need it? Or can I save you money? Here's why I might be able to save you money, or maybe make you rethink your next purchase because you've been bombarded thinking that you need to have a high pH of 8.5 and this and that to be successful. This is the problem in the community. If I'm lying, then I'm dying. Because at the end of the day, people hear what they want to hear and take it and run, and then it becomes an argument. And then the person that is speaking of such, looks like the one that's always being confrontational, the one that's always boo-hoo crying. The reality is, what is the title of this live stream? Just say, what is the title of this live stream? CO2 scrubbers for better pH in saltwater tank. Correct? Correct? Correct. Okay. Did I say don't buy CO2s? Did I say they don't work? Did I say anything about it? I don't think I did. I don't even think I did anything wrong. Not that I'm aware of. If I did, please enlighten me. Does CO2 scrubbers work? People have them. I think maybe it does if they got a pH probe and they can see that their pH went up since they put it on. Okay. So it works. What about the growth? Did you see excellent growth now, or what? What about all the other things that has to line up to create growth? Do you think just having higher pH is the end all to be all to better growth in your aquarium? What other elements does it take to have coral growth? I feel a lot of these things is only one element of the whole pie. And they all have to line up to get. This is a struggle. It's going to be a long year, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to bow down. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. Okay. Once again, I have to double my calcium reactor when things all start to grow. Never had anything to do with the pH. When things start to take off, they grow. How many corals did you put in your tank and you just stared at it? Wasn't doing nothing, and then one day it just started growing, and then it never stopped growing. Did you have to up your intake? Of course you did. What about coralline algae in your aquarium? When you start seeing it pop up everywhere, did you have to up your doses? Sure you did. Okay. When things decide to grow, you're going to up it. How about your baby? When it decides to grow, do you have to go from baby food like a bottle or nipple titty or to jar food to McDonald's French fries with the ends cut off to actually a Happy Meal and then Big Mac meal and all the above. Of course you did. You know, I'm just saying, Rico, do raise pH, but personally, I think the media is too expensive for how fast you burn through it. That's why I mentioned alternatives. All I was doing is asking a question and mention alternatives. That's all. That's all. Mention alternatives. Saving people money. If you want to buy what you want to buy. I'm not here to stop you from buying. I'm telling you, do you really think it's worth it? Do you? Let me ask you. You got a display tank. You're not into propagating corals for sale. You have a display tank, right? Does that extra 1/4 inch gonna make or break you for the year on pH? I'm just asking a question. Is that gonna make or break you? Is it that serious to go the extra mile for that? Maybe it might be for you. I don't know. How people are crazy. People are crazy. 1/4 inch times 50 frags. I didn't say anything. I said a year, for the year. For the year. They make beer bottle nipples. Hey. All right. Hey. Some people would say yes. And it's completely all right because that's their opinion. I respect that. All right. I do respect that. No matter what. Some people say yes. The only reason I do this and I even entertain chats is because I don't want it to be one-sided. I want people to engage. I want people to whatever. Is it stressful? Yep. Sometimes you can't change somebody's way of thinking. Even though you might not be trying to change their way, you're just simply putting it out there. Hey, do you feel that free is better than to get the same results? That's a question. Do you think bringing in free air to your house is better than scrubbing air and putting it back in? What about that question? Is that maybe I'm not asking the right questions? You know, maybe I'm not. Maybe my channel's not big enough to get those kind of answers or stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just playing too. But, my pH stays in the 8s. Don't really pay attention to it much. Most people don't. It's the ones that want to go above and beyond. I don't know any coral farms that run CO2 scrubbers. I know the coral farms and more because I'm up here too and I travel all around. But to be answer that, Greg, I don't either. I don't know if they actually worry too much about what their pH is. I know tidal gardens don't. It is what it is. It's an outside facility. If it goes to 5, if it goes to 8, whatever it is what it is. They're not chasing pH. They're having great success. Corals are growing, obviously good enough to constantly frag and have a whole facility full of corals. Some that they got so much of that they would willing to give it to y'all trays at a time. You would have to buy it, actually so many units. But it is what it is. I don't care about pH. Let my tank do what what's to do. Let it do what it's going to do. These are great conversations. These are heavy conversations. A lot of people have opinions, and you have to respect people's opinions. You have to listen to people. And if you don't want to listen to them, then you're obviously in the wrong business. I get that myself. Is it hard to listen to somebody's logic or way of thinking? Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Um, and all you doing is trying to help. And you can't help everybody. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. How come you never do video of your tank? How can I? What do you mean I don't ever do video of my tank? Did you forget I moved? This is a new house. I'm renovating. I made a video of that. So if you're asking me that, that means you don't watch my videos and you really don't know who I am and you're possibly a troll. And if not, I apologize, but where you been? But I use outside air. I'm just saying, where you been? I use outside air. Okay, is it free? Nobody answers some of these things that I say, though. And at the end of the day, definitely do what works for you in your tank. And by the way, nobody's telling anybody here to do anything. It's a discussion. So let's clarify that for anybody else. Just think, I coming in late thinking something because they haven't seen the whole video yet, or came in late and just don't know anything yet. Part of the catch of coral growth is exponential. So 1% more growth a month may be significant long term if you can get a better spectrum and add another 1% to get more stable out, another 2%. There you go, flasking. Cha-ching. Reefing for fun. What's up, Rico? What's up? What's going on? Sorry, man. Didn't realize you moved houses. Must have missed some videos. Oh, and YouTube is not notifying people and all kinds of stuff. And I guess that's just on other people saying, yep, it's hit and miss. YouTube is whatever. And I've been away too for a little bit. So all that combined, I could see where, I out of sight, out of mind, forgot about it. It's okay. No offense, no problem, nothing hurt. I'll open my windows. There you go. If it's too hot or too cold, you can't always open a window, but you definitely will help raise pH. That's why people poke holes through their wall on the other end of their wall so they can keep their house buttoned up for AC and all this and suck air in. Obviously your heater's not going to come in. You might be running the chiller in really hot places. It ain't going to just get some air in there and you're fine. All that is going to determine, and you're going to spend and go through a lot more scrubber beads and everything else when you got a bunch of people in there anyway and they're trying to compensate for your household. How much money does that stuff cost? I have no idea. I'm just going by people asking. I thought it'd be a good topic. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to really talk about things myself, that, people ask, hey, if you don't want anything to do with outside and you want to stay in your house and you want to keep everything buttoned up tight, so be it. Go buy you one. Have fun. Scrub a dub dub. But at the end of the day, what's so hard with drilling, siliconing, or whatever, and pulling in fresh air that costs you nothing, and it's always there, it's free, and I don't know what else I could say about it. Even if you have a house party, you're getting direct air, and it's not, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to make sure media didn't run out or fully saturated or whatever. Hey, that's just my thought. It's just logic thought. I don't care who sells it. I don't care. what company, who sells it. I don't care. I don't even know if Saltwater Aquariums, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. I don't know. I don't care. I'm sitting there just simply wondering what people's thoughts are on it. You know, how many people actually in here in the chat actually used it? That's what I want to know. My tank is in the basement. pH never goes below 8.1. His never goes below 8.1. Mine stayed. Well, I was always down there, and the kids were down there, and everything else. So I guess for me, until I did a new system for the new tank, then it was fine. It was always above 8.1. I use one, and I use one. Two people use one. That's it. No wonder why one of them's giving me so much grief. Got to believe in what you use. Had to take that jab, you know. Just had to. Anyway, so what's your thoughts on them? I mean, for real. So why do you use them? To raise your pH because of low pH? Is it really because of low pH, or do you want better growth, or you were told that you get better growth? I guess that's a good way to look at it. And be honest. This is to help other people. My pH was 7.6. Yeah, mine stayed. That 300, Gabe, that's where it was normally at. I'm dead serious, brother. Dead serious on everything. I think you were there. How many times did I say that on those live streams? And showed 7.6. That was the norm, and that was the norm. I have tank in garage, and I open door 5 times a day for 10-15 minutes. How does that work out for you? Mine raised pH 0.4. So 0.4, that's it. Let me. This is John said mine raises up 0.4. All right. Yeah. You have a scrubber, right? I'm just looking up at the chats. I don't know if he said he has one. So you never chase pH. I never chase pH. I never chase. I talked about this. I don't know who you are, but I've been doing this for a long time talking. And I tell people don't chase numbers. There's a range for everything, but don't chase numbers. Also, do you believe in the longer your aquarium's up, that is going to mature, and also maybe pH rises over time as well? Also, I mean, obviously, depending on how many people's around the tank and breathing the air in and all that. Got better pH raise from opening the window. You got better pH. I believe that. All BS. So with the scrubber, my pH with cap around 8.3. Okay. Without scrubber, I'm around 7.9. All right. And I think those are great numbers still, no matter what. I'm being honest. Whether you use it, don't use it, it's not a problem. And that's the thing. More equipment means more problems too. More money, more problems, and that whole 9 yards. So, I mean, same results. Some people say, "Hey, I got better pH when I open the window." How? I don't know. It is what it is. My aquarium has been up for 2 months. There you go. See, I didn't even know that, Gabe. It's not chasing numbers if the numbers aren't where they need to be. Why do you dose anything and try to keep things stable if you're not chasing a number? chasing within range. It's not chasing numbers, trying to get in within range. So everything has a range. Everything has a range and trying to get in range. Now, there are things like pH. People say you need to be at 7.8, 7.6 is bad. Well, my tank's been down to 7.6. It stayed there for a very long time. And coral still grew and coral still handled their business. If I believed everything of what I was told or heard, I don't know if I would have an aquarium. pH 4 and NO3. So without skimming, filtration, bioballs, live rock, refugium, zeovit, and acros are loving it. There you go. Yeah. So what gave, it is what it is. Those higher pH really increase growth. Your opinion, I think higher alk and able to run a higher alk has, I've seen, help with faster growth. I also see that it's very dangerous. I'm a big fan of kalkwasser as well, or pickleine, or whatever you don't want to call it nowadays. Very well with precipitating phosphates and raising pH, dosing it at night. There for a while, my pH was trying to get to 7.4, pH. And at night for a while, I was dosing my calc just to help keep that up at 7.8, stuff like that. Don't know why. I don't know if there was a bunch of decay matter or the CO in the household got that high. I don't know how that's possible. I had kids still at the time running in and out. It was in the basement. Don't know. But I've seen raising out be a little bit, but I also seen the side effects that it put stress on corals and had some of the sensitive corals start to RTN or STN too. It's not a cure to all. You have to get down to the bottom of that. Like kalkwasser helps, and there's a lot of benefits from running calc. A lot of benefits in the aquarium industry for running it. The problem is it's a short-term fix. If you're using it for pH purposes to maintain your pH, it's a short-term fix. Anyway, you can grow things at low pH. High will grow stony corals quicker. I saw my pH swings with refugium 1 hour before light goes off. That's another topic that I did not bring up because we were just wondering about CO2 scribbers for pH in saltwater tanks. I don't see a lot of people actually running them. There's obviously a couple. There's not a lot of people run them. And those that do run them, more power to you. Just so you know, I don't want you to think this is a bash fest, because it's not. Even if it was, but it's not. But if it was, it would be a bash fest if that's what I wanted it to be. But it's not. To each his own. For real. It's like telling somebody they can't, should they be running LED versus T5s or something, even though that's another topic I get all the time. It is what it is. The room CO2 monitor I use is helpful with pH. It alerts me to when to open a window. We've got that's another great thing that people don't know. Having a CO2 monitor in a room to let you know when the levels are creeping high. Because once you see that, you can watch your pH. You can watch your pH just throwing a house party go from 8.2, 8.5 down to ungodly numbers maybe. But you can just watch it drop with no problem. You'd be amazed how a tank breathes. Period. I turned my CO2 scrubber into a carbon reactor. I guess that's one way to do it, right? Hell, I would rather have a window open all day, but in the winter, wife and kids will hate me. That's why I say punch a hole. I don't understand why people don't punch a hole. I would just punch a hole, run a hose out, seal it up, probably put like a filter sock with some carbon on the end or something to just make sure nothing's crawling in there, spiders, stink bugs, or whatever else. Who knows what's going to go in there? And do all that. Now, Gabe, unfortunately, you're in a different boat. You might not be in a different boat. Some people do with their windows and they put the tape and just have where the hose go through the window and really tape the window. They do that. But punching holes in something, if you're a renter, unless you're going to fix it, yeah, don't do that at all. I poked a hole in the 5-gallon bucket and then poked a few holes in the bottom. What did I miss? Oh, I made my own for a client with medical grade CO2 scrubber media. Oh, okay. I'm like, what is he talking about? The problem with me is I'm in a rental apartment. Hey, guys, that is okay. I get it. You can't, if you're in a cold climate, don't want to open the door, exchange air. You'd be surprised how much CO2 goes right out. Open your door for not even a minute or two or whatever, and then go whatever. Yeah. DI projects, if it's that serious, here's my thing. Save your money where you can save your money. Okay? That's what this is about. Save your money where you can save your money. It's not about stepping on toes per se. Some stuff is just not worth what you think it is. Just saying. Some stuff is just not worth your while. So, do you guys want another live stream? And what topic do you want to talk about before I end this one? West Coast he ain't getting no alerts either. Ain't getting no alerts. Nobody getting no alerts. I can't help y'all. Damn, missed this one too. I'm about to do another one, West Coast. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell anybody, man. I don't. Refugiums. Stability within the aquarium. God forbid. You're trying to kill me, Gabe. You're trying to ruin my life, Gabe. Why do you do this to me? I already got one troll that's crawled up my behind and gave me the worst hemorrhoids ever. What are you trying to do with me? And one day you're trying to make me croak, have a heart attack, Gabe? Some things we just can't talk about because it's going to go left. I need more gray hairs. You ain't lying, man. This year, the gray hairs, I fought it off as long as I can, man. I got gray hair in places that I just can't even talk about anymore. I got to get some just for men. Breathe, Rico, breathe. Hey, I'm breathing, brother. I need an email list. Going live now. Yeah, I know, right? Refugium. Jose. Okay, laser reefer syndrome. Oh, God, come on. Okay. Aquarium Talk, episode 17. Aquarium Talk. That's just going to be the name. We're going to just talk aquariums for a minute. All right. I will see you guys back here in about 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Okay? Okay. Running carbon also helps pH. It helps remove acid from the water. Man, that boy learned something, man. He new to the hobby too. He been learning. He been doing some research. He might be smart after all. Peace.